Hey guys, what's up? I'm Double X, and I have some pretty awesome news to share with you guys. Recently, it's been announced that Jessica Jones, the Marvel series on Netflix, the second one after Daredevil, has just been greenlit for a second season. And you know what? I think that's fantastic. Mainly because Jessica Jones is a pretty dark but very intriguing series. It was essentially built as almost like a survivors series of a person surviving from, well, abuse and rape and physical torment. And it really hits home. And speaking of Daredevil, instead of us getting our season 2 in April of this year, the popularity of Daredevil has been so big that now we're going to get it in March. And let's not forget that next month we're going to be having Deadpool, which is proudly being presented as a rated R film. Now, why do I bring these topics up right now? Well, because Deadpool, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones all fall under a similar category. They are all properties of Marvel that are of a mature rating. They are a darker tone, a much intense approach. Because let's be honest, we have seen over the last couple of years, since before I can even remember, we have been watching PG-13 superhero films. None of them, as I recall, have been rated PG or G, though if you want to count The Incredibles as a superhero film, then go right ahead. But when it comes to Marvel or DC, just about every single property of movie they released have been rated PG-13. Now, of course, this is for various obvious reasons. Mainly because PG-13 means you can bring your whole family, it has suitable things for the teenagers and for the adults, but also being somewhat kid-friendly so long as, they come with the parents. PG-13 is pretty much a safe zone for most movies because there are a lot of movies that do well that are PG-13. And statistics show that movies that are rated PG-13 sometimes do a lot better than ones that are rated R. I don't say that applies to every movies, but for Marvel movies and superhero movies, it's most likely the PG-13 films that come out on top. Now, the last time we've had an R-rated Marvel movie was back in early 2000 or so. This was with the Blade movies. Now, say what you want about Blade, whether you like it or hate it, or maybe you think Wesley Snipes was the best role, but Blade was essentially the first attempt at an R-rated Marvel movie. This is a good thing because there's no way you can beat around the bush that Blade can kill vampires and try to make that PG-13. You have to make it R. With all the blood, with all the swearing, with all the vampires that, thank God, never sparkled, we had to go with an R-rated approach. This is understandable. And recently, while Deadpool has been promoting its R rating and its really raunchy and sexualized humor, there have been people petitioning a PG-13 Deadpool movie. And I'm like, no, let's not do that. If you bring Deadpool down to PG-13 level, granted, you might get a much better approach from audiences, but you have a little bit of limitation from what Deadpool can actually do. This is why people are frustrated when we always see Wolverine in PG-13 films, mainly because Wolverine is violent, and wherever he slashes someone's up, sometimes we're disappointed because we don't actually see blood. That's right, people. Some of the few complaints that people have with Wolverine is that he's not violent enough. And I do think that says a lot to a person's character. I mean, Wolverine is no nice guy. He's the best he is at what he does, and that's killing. So, while it is frustrating that every time I see Wolverine getting into fights and not really showing much blood, I can at least appreciate that Hugh Jackman has done justice to that character for well over a decade. It's going to be sad for him to leave. But back on the topic of these mature, R-rated type motifs that Marvel has with Deadpool and Jessica Jones and Daredevil. Now, they could have easily gone a PG-13 route with this, but they chose not to because they wanted to explore the more darker elements. They wanted to take their time. They wanted to extend their own reach with what they can do. And they did this with the Netflix series very well because Netflix doesn't have a whole FCC censoring issue. So Marvel can take Daredevil premise and they can have a scene where the main villain, Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, literally decapitates a guy with a car door. And I enjoyed much of like that because we didn't really see that type of Kingpin in that Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, which we will never speak of again. More to the point, we have scenes where Jessica Jones has moments in which the story brings about topics like abuse, rape, abortion, and yet they're still able to play it off pretty well. This is really impressive because, well, not lots of shows that talk about abortion come up. And this is a Marvel franchise film series. But you get what I mean, right? Marvel isn't used to getting this attention of this more maturity ever since that the Blade movies finished up and ever since people didn't care about the Punisher movies, which I haven't seen for myself, but whatever. I'm personally glad that the Punisher, though, is coming back into the play with Daredevil Season 2. And it really sounds interesting how they're going to make this approach, how they're going to up the ante, possibly add some more superhero advanced mysticism type elements within series such as Jessica Jones and Daredevil, because most of them are pretty down to earth. I mean, granted, we have Jessica Jones being super strong, and also Luke Cage having unbreakable skin and also super strong, and let's not forget Kilgrave with his mind control abilities. But essentially, we're getting a slowly more approach to all the things that we didn't think was possible. It was similar to the show Arrow. Arrow, based on the Green Arrow character from DC, it did take a bit more darker approach and took more down-to-earth elements. They didn't have any superheroes or superpowers or mysticism or magic until a little bit into Season 2, when they introduced characters like the Flash, and they introducing things like Ra's al Ghul and the Lazarus Pit. They tend to take their time in extending to what they can do with the materials they have. And as for Marvel's case, they went for a grittier type of realistic approach with the superhero-esque element that still has the powers but not really explore them to the superpower villainy. I think this is a good approach, and it's obviously making people a lot more entertained by a more mature Marvel sense. So what I'm basically trying to say is, people, I think, are going to be just fine watching more R-rated Marvel content. People are going to demand more Daredevil. People are likely to demand more Jessica Jones, just to see where they can go out from. Maybe a bit more continuity with some of the other films. And let's not forget, people have been wanting an R-rated Deadpool played by Ryan Reynolds for a long time now, and as far as the marketing goes, he is nailing it out of the park. Just about every little content and snippet of Daredevil movie has been gold, and it shows that they have a type of immaturity, yet also finesse with the really sexualized and raunchy type humor, the dark humor. It just goes to show that people have different tastes, but when you apply to that taste very well, then they want to demand more. So, I say give us more mature Marvel content. Give us more R-rated superhero films. Give us more Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Deadpool, because I'm pretty sure even though this is the first R-rated Marvel movie in a long time, it's likely to get some type of success. Whether it's by box office or by critics is still up for debate. But I can guarantee you there'll be lots of fans wanting to see this film. And they're already talking about possible sequels with Deadpool, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a lot to work with. And let's face it, we're not going anywhere with that fan 4 stick crap. So yeah, essentially, I don't know what you guys think, but to me, I would welcome a lot more mature type Marvel content. Whether in Netflix form or movie form, I say bring it on. I'm not much with gore, but I can take it. Because I watch some anime that are pretty bloody. So, no big deal. Nudity, sexualized content, whatever. So yeah, bring it on, Marvel. Give us more R-rated material. Because chances are fans would want to see that. And are demanding to see that. Thanks again for watching. I'm Double X, and I will see you next time.